Here in this small town, nothing exciting ever happens. Life is very disappointing.
No. Where are you, Paige?
Good people of Derry Hill, Maine, I welcome you.
Dude! What's the matter? Where's your head at?
She's not on the site anymore. I don't know where she is.
Jack is looking for love, and it just walked in the front door.
That's a serious comic book you have there.
I'm not saying it wasn't her, dude, but the chances are pretty slim. I don't know what she's doing in Berry Hill.
She's on vacation. It's her. I know it.
She's the kind of girl everyone desires, and some people are willing to pay just about anything to meet her.
I'm willing to pay $1 million for this honor, Mr. Maxwell. Don't disappoint me.
Your comic book store would be a really great place to sell clothing.
Where in Maine are you specifically?
$1 million for that shit. I can't believe it.
I'm here to clean up this town.
Get ready for the sexiest, craziest, fun-filled ride you'll ever take with Paige, the Web Girl. She'll drive you wild.
Hey, boys!
Hi, we're back at the Crazy River in downtown Augusta with Uncle Jack. Guys, can you please introduce yourselves and the instrument that you play?
Scott Labby, vocalist.
Chris Michaud, bassist.
Ted Warner, guitar.
Mike Stevens, drums.
Okay. Next question I'd like to ask is, how did you able to get Budweiser to sponsor your bands? I mean, was it a difficult process to go through, or was it fairly easy?
It's weird it's difficult for people like us who don't drink, you know, and to get someone like Budweiser was really hard, but we prevailed.
If we drank enough beer, they'd sponsor us. So we had a man.
That turned us into drinkers, so now, you know,
Besides, our tabs every night is more than what we make in the band, so that gave them a good incentive to.
And that was difficult too, since we don't drink.
In all seriousness, I believe we have a lot to thank to our promoter Razor Ray, who is here, I believe, and makes a lot of connections for us. You need a good promoter, you know. I think that's where it comes in. Promotions. It is a big part of the music industry, a big part of the recording industry is promotions, and you know, you got a good promoter behind you, your product's going to go a lot further.
The next question is, how hard was it for you folks to break into the music scene, since heavy music is kind of really against the grain of the wool in this area and so forth?
A lot of gigs. Just keep pounding the cement and try to expose the band to as many people as you can. Whether there's 5 or 50 or 500, it doesn't matter. Just keep pounding them.
And be very versatile too. You know, you can't just, you know, play one style. It's a good thing. We play different styles, so.
What style is? Start to a good bass from your hometown, Lewiston.
Yeah, I started off in a cover band from the Lewiston area, which we played a lot of not so hard or heavy music, and from there, I said, screw that. I want to, start an original band, and so that gave us kind of a start. But being a very friendly band and a very gig-oriented band, that really helped us break the scene.
And what type of music is Uncle Jack performing right now?
Modern rock.
Right? Modern rock and roll. Yeah.
Funk, rock.
A lot of
heavy
different
stuff,
flavors.
melodies,
You'll find a lot of
stuff,
different flavors in our music, but I mean, if you want to try to put a label on it, speaking of labels, here's some of our CDs and tapes.
Yeah!
We're basically.
Oh my God, who's that?
Sorry.
That's our paid fan. We pay our fans too.
We pay people to show up.
We can be known as a heavy band from time to time, but also we have some mellow songs, and we do, not everything is extremely heavy. We do.
The heavy bands call us wimps, and people who listen to people who listen to top 40, that's top 40.
Think we're heavy.
They think we're heavy.
Yeah.
So anywhere in between is where we are. We're everywhere in between.
We're in between Hootie and the Blowfish and Slayer.
With a little bit of, Henry Miller.
And you folks doing the New England tour coming up here soon?
Well, we're kind of in it, you know, if you want to call it. We don't have a Silver Eagle bus at this point, but yeah, this whole summer, all of our gigs are definitely centered around our new CD, Adhesive, on Backstreet Records. We also have our first CD that came out was called Shrink by our own efforts.
Deadbox Records.
Deadbox Records.
Long live.
And we've also done, we did a couple of dates in Providence, Rhode Island at the Strand, which is a big theater in the center of the city. Opened up for Dokken, and then we're asked to return for Ratt, which were both really, you know, for us, big venues. It really was, you know, and got a lot of email and, you know, created a stir down there as well as up here in Maine.
Can we advertise our web page, right?
Yeah.
Hey Ray, how do I read this? Because I don't know how to do this stuff.
www.
Yeah. How do you do this? What is it?
It's http www.rapture, rapture.net/Uncle Jack. Backstreet release Uncle Jack, Adhesive.
Yeah, that's what he said. Pretty much it. Another thing I wanted to say.
Sing a tune for us, Ted.
Let me hear that.
All right. Give me another one of those. No.
Let me ask you this question, okay? Now, since the music industry right now is at a stale point, do you think that your band's music might be the next biggest thing in popular music?
Yes.
That rule.
Definitely. This is where it's at.
Because your band is a hybrid style of different styles.
Yes, it's not a purist style, yeah? That's very true. And I think that comes, number one, from our backgrounds, the very diverse backgrounds. And
what is your background as an individual?
As an individual, well, country growing up, and of course the Beatles, you know, like any kid or whatever. But I got into progressive jazz for quite a while, which led me to a lot of chop orientation, building up of chops. And not that I use them that much anymore.
In case you haven't realized, he's really old. He's old.
What's your background?
My background?
Yep.
Well, no, everything.
Okay.
Pink Floyd, Van Halen, all that old stuff, you know. And everything from Pink Floyd, Van Halen, Aerosmith. We did listen to Steve Vai. We listen to everything.
Cool.
We try to open our minds to everything. You know what I mean?
And it had a lot of influences on it.
You can't just listen to what's on the radio today, because if you do, you're going to end up sounding like everything that's out today. So you try to put some of the old stuff. We try to put in like what was in the '80s, you know, the high energy rock stuff mixed in with the '90s stuff, and try to come up with something different rather than just ride the coattails of Bush or Soundgarden or Green Day and just sound like everybody else. So we're trying to get something different going.
It must take a lot of hours of practice. How many hours a week does the band practice?
We don't. We don't. We just show up at the gigs and play.
Basis?
What?
We're on our way to rehearsal.
Yeah, we're playing tonight, so that's our rehearsal.
We practice 12 hours a year.
Practice on an individual basis.
That's when we write.
Actually, what we do is, when we're playing and kind of touring, which it kind of is because we're all very busy, but we do it every weekend. We don't really practice that much, but then we take like months off. Last year we took almost 3 months off of playing out, in which time we did a lot of writing and did a lot of playing together and practicing, and recorded an album. New album on Backstreet Records, Adhesive.
We play so much it's kind of redundant to have practices. You know, it doesn't really work.
Do you practice a lot on the drums, trying to experiment and come up with new drum fills?
Sometimes. Most of the time, it's just trying to keep my body healthy enough to play them. You know,
because you play a double bass drum set, correct?
No, single bass. I sweat a lot when I play, so I work very hard when I play, so it's tough to keep up sometimes. But the whole thing is to keep your mind fresh. You know, your body works as quick as your mind does. So, and I get my body to do whatever my mind wants to. So to practice something, you know, I mean, it's more or less, I keep every part of my body fit to be able to do what my mind wants it to.
Have you ever came up with any injuries? Tendon problems or tendonitis problems?
Well, I've had cuts on my hands. I've broken my knuckles. I smashed my glasses out one time with my stick. Not really broken my nose, but came close. Had a bloody nose. Let's see. I broke my foot one time skiing, and I had to play 2 weeks later.
Which foot did you break, the right one or the left one?
The left one, fortunately. It's not my bass drum foot, so.
He hurts us too.
Yeah.
You know. Every time he hits that thing, whap, and just I get ear damage.
I've smashed my knuckles a few times, but that's not really. That's just not major. It's just something that happens all the time.
Do you sometimes try to practice a lot so you don't repeat the same drum fill within 45 minutes of a show?
No, I have a problem doing that. I do that quite often. I think you just develop a style and you know it works.
Things come
for the
to you,
for the
huh?
band. Yeah, I mean, like from the first album to the next album, you can see the changes in everybody and their playing. You know, so it's a progressive thing. As the band gets older, we all change and we all have, you know, different feelings as we go down the road towards your instrument.
Now, can you folks please describe to our audience about your 2 videos that you have out right now?
They're really basic, raw. It was an experiment. It was kind of like a first time thing. The kids that were doing it did a really good job, and we were the guinea pigs. Yeah. They've done other videos since then that have come out better. Ours were just the very first ones. They're decent, you know, they're decent, but we never did a video before or anything, so it was kind of weird for us.
We were very, very unprepared. I mean, as far as like lighting and scenery, I mean, we look like we're in a news station.
Right.
Yeah.
For one, I mean, but the camera quality and the picture quality was great, and you know, we in turn, you know, had some experience at doing this.
Right,
so next
and it
time
also let us know. Right, that's what I was going to
Next
say.
time when it becomes a real big deal, you know, we have, you know, at least this amount of a clue.
It's just like in the studio. You have to start with what you think is cool, then everybody's got to watch it. Or like in the studio, everybody listens to it, and then you build or change according, you know, it's an art, and just like recording is an art. I guess we all left there realizing that if we do a video again, it's going to take probably at least a couple of weeks, you know, to do it correctly.
There's a lot of mental discipline in doing a video because we're more natural at just playing the song through and through, and it's just like sometimes
we have to become actors to do a video, and that's why a lot of musicians become actors too. You know, look at Flea and Henry Rollins, and you know, score. They do. They get you get your start in rock videos, and you know.
It was fun lip syncing to our own stuff. Jumping
tough.
around and lip syncing.
It was tough.
You don't have to worry about being plugged in. You know, you just doesn't matter because you're not really playing. So, and it's easy to jump around more because
Ted
you're not
got
really
to pose
playing.
more.
Yeah, I get to jump around more because you know.
Now, Charlie Wing from Shock Sandwich helped you folks with that video.
Yes, he did.
Charlie, by the way.
Thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie's videotaped a lot of our shows.
Yeah,
done a lot of our shows. I really feel sorry for him.
He has to edit that stuff.
Yeah.
The next question is, do you possibly think that now that you're at the stage that you're beyond the beginner stage, that you face more problems with the big league players in the music industry, like the movies and shakers?
Bring it on. Bring it on. Just learn as we go and just keep going.
You don't have attitude in this big, you know, you got to be the hungriest when you have the chance to be around hard hitters, or if not, you're going to look like crap.
You really got to be able to take it on the chin too.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I mean, you got
go into
to
detail?
learn how to handle disappointment because
Playing
it
gigs
gets.
where you can't hear yourself because the big bands want to have this, you know, done a certain way, and you can't. But you just got to play by those rules because they're the guys that are, you know, you're backing up. So you just have to do. You have to bite your tongue, and you have to just do what you're told to do, and just get up there and be lucky you have the chance to be doing what you're doing. Anytime you're in front of people, you should be lucky to be playing in front of people, you know, because I'd rather be doing that than playing in my room. And whether we get paid or not, well, a lot of times we don't even get paid. We just play, you know. It's because we want to get out there and play.
I think a big part of our whole thing is we're not just recording musicians either. We're a live. We really enjoy the live show, you know, wouldn't you say? I mean, that's a big part of it for us is live performance. And, you know, of course, I think every band wants to reproduce their stuff live as best that they can. And I think it's very equally important. Come see our shows. Come out to our shows, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Come on. One thing I can add is you gotta be able to deal with humiliation because you're gonna get humiliated. Something's gonna happen where you're gonna screw up in front of everybody, Or you're going to have a night where there's only 9 people there for some strange reason, you know. The week before there was 1,595 people. Well, the next week is only 9 people. Why? Who knows? But you'll be able to swallow your pride big time and deal with humiliation, because it's going to happen again and again and again. And I feel sorry for a lot of those bands in the 80s that sold 20 million records and now are playing a club in front of 50 people. They have to do the same thing and deal with humiliation.
Yeah, you gotta love
That's
playing.
a big part of the music industry.
If you don't like it, if you don't love playing, then it'll never work out. You'll never stick with it. Your band will break up.
It's a labor of love.
That's it.
Well, you mentioned 1,500. Is that because of the show you did at the Lewiston Armory?
Kind of, yeah. We had 1,500 people there.
There was quite a few people at the Providence, Rhode Island shows that we did too.
2,000.
Yeah.
And a lot of them liked us. That was good, you know.
Yeah, we were pleasantly surprised. We didn't know when we first went. We really didn't know. I think it was like, you know, our 800 people gonna go, you know, after the first song. You know, I didn't know. I could tell though. I could start to feel the energy of the people about almost at the end of the first song, and they really responded well, and that definitely just, you know, kept our energy for the show happening.
From that too.
A lot of email.
We did a 4th of July show, and we got some email for that. We got
written letters. We got a lot of written letters too.
Yes. And you know, some of them requesting merchandise. Some of them the lyrics. You know, because we didn't print the lyrics, we just printed quotes from it. You know, and a lot of them responding to the Providence shows. You know, which, you know, were very, very good.
If you want to find out what the lyrics are, because we don't have the lyrics printed on the CD, you can call us. You can call us or send us the thing. You can call the Jack Shack at area code 207-784-5321, or you can write us at P.O. Box 324, Auburn, Maine.
04212. What type of process did you folks have to go through to get on TOS and the other radio stations in Maine?
Beer.
When you
Beer.
show up at a station,
Well, you got to know the guys. You got to know how much they drink, and you got to know where they're going to be, and you just got to go, okay, I'll bring some beer. They'll come up and they'll listen to the tunes. If they like you, they'll play you.
That's called 120, 150 people a week calling and saying, I want to hear some Jack. That's what it takes. Doesn't take money.
And beer.
Doesn't take, you know, we've been to radio stations and paid for major advertisement. Didn't help us at all. You know, it's not that. It's not the money. It's not the looks.
You got to have
the
people
fans.
liking what you're doing. It's true. At first, especially to just get your first catapult into radio. And yes, thank you WTOS. They have been wonderful to us. They've been sincere with us.
Thank you, Woody, Chris Rush, Tom O, Jen Wild,
Mr. Mike, and
Fazman.
Yeah, they
beer.
And beers.
Budweiser's.
And the girl on Saturday night, Bonnie.
Bonnie, can't forget her. Bonnie.
And everybody else.
They've all been really great to us. But
and Joe Conrad started the whole thing off.
Oh,
He
yeah.
played us first, the first DJ to ever play us. Joe Conrad from Waterville, you rule.
Yeah, he's just not with TOS right now, but he's definitely the man.
He is there. He's like that part-time.
Isn't he fixing refrigerators now?
No. Computers. But he's jamming on Uncle Jack.
Now, Uncle Jack really broke the mold because from when I first met you, I had the feeling that you guys didn't have an attitude whatsoever. Do you think that, you know, more?
We've changed.
You
haven't
didn't at all.
We've changed.
Yeah, you didn't cop an attitude. You know, you didn't.
Sold 1,000 CDs now. Now we're cool. Now we have an attitude.
Yeah, right. No. Yeah, right.
Okay. My next question is, where do you think that the music scene is going to be in the Central Maine area within the next 5 years?
It's gonna change.
It's changing.
But
it is changing.
Things move slow around here. You don't expect anything major change. It moves slow around here, and it's unlike any other place. That's why we want to keep playing here as much as we can.
You know,
because once you get a fan in this state, they're loyal. They don't change. They don't turn on you. You know what I mean? That's why we'll always still play here. But we're gonna try to play it. We're trying to play.
You got to figure too. Live rock and roll is now almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, electric rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, people.
Like I said,
I don't mean to be
he's
downing it, but but I think that's part of the thing. That it has to be, you know, more of a connection too. Again, you know, people have to like your music too on their radios or their cassette players or whatever too, to come see you, and that's what keeps it alive.
sad but true. Okay, even a lot of fans, even 4,000 or 5,000 people a night come seeing you. Okay, will not really make this scene big. What really helps is people like you who are putting on, shows, cable, advertising, radio stations, magazines, newspapers. That is what is going to make the difference in Central Maine. Not so much the fans, because once they're gone home at night at 1 in the morning, it's over with, it's done. It's the press, it's the radio and all that stuff that's going to make the difference. If anybody wants to see a scene in Central Maine, it's going to have to be more people like you and TOS that are helping us out, and other bands too. It's press is the major thing. It's not so much fans or music.
Guys like Ray.
We're playing
Razor Ray.
Tonight we're playing with a band, Ludovico Treatment, friends of ours.
Yes.
And excellent band. And there's so many good bands. Actually, there's a good handful of really good bands in this state, and they're not all from Portland either, and quite a few of them aren't actually. And local cable access, stations like TOS, definitely TOS. I can't really mention any other station that gives local bands a real chance. You know what I mean? It's definitely TOS. Definitely the radio stations need to play more local rock because there's some good stuff happening. And there's good recording studios. They're getting recorded.
How much help has Backstreet Records given you folks? I mean, you folks have progressed a lot with your CD. Were they really supportive and professional?
Basically, we still do everything ourselves. I mean, we still make our own money. We pay everything back.
They tested us about a year ago. We ran out of our first CD. We sold out, and we all agreed that if we were going to reorder it, that we should remaster it too, because it was we didn't have a huge budget when it very first came out. That was Shrink. So in fact, the new Shrinks that you would buy now are remastered, and they will now absolutely knock your china cabinets to pieces. So I'd tape down all your glassware when playing it. But anyway. They gave us the initial loan to reorder and remaster the CD, and it was kind of how they tested us, I think, and we paid it right back, turned it around, and even made more merchandise and shirts and stuff, and did the whole thing. So it's a business too. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that either. That's not because if you give people a good product, it's worth it. Mm-hmm. It is.
He's treating us good. We can't complain at all. He's loaned us almost 30 grand so far. I mean, he's treating us good, and he's the only one that believed in us at that point. Now we're getting other people looking at us too, but he believed in us first, and he's giving us a good chance, and we're gonna
stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Where do you see
yourselves?
yourselves?
Backstreet Records, by the way. Backstreet Records.
Where do you see the band in about 5 years?
Records. What's that?
Where do you see the band in about 5 years?
5 years?
Retired and fishing
in the Caribbean.
Fishing. It'll all be over. Matter of fact, this is our last gig.
Did you see yourselves doing?
He didn't want to wait till the whole video. He let it leak out.
There's a lot of problems within the band.
A lot of people are really,
basically, we don't really, don't see it going much farther than tonight.
We pretty much hate each other.
Actually, let's just leave right now. I can't stand your face no more.
This is it. 5 years.
My next question is: Do you guys have a lot of hearing?
5 years.
You know what I mean?
I don't think we can look. I don't think any of us have even the capacity to look 5
I'll
years.
Be 30.
Hopefully,
5 hours.
Hopefully, we'll at least still be on Backstreet Records, or we'll be on a bigger label. If not, and if not, it'd be great if we were still on an indie label, and just still being able to make records. I'd love to be able to make some more records. At least another. I want to make some more.
There's a lot of music still untouched that we've gone over.
Bottom line, rock will live forever.
When do you think the next CD might be coming out?
Fall of next year.
Possibly fall of next year.
I'm not going to say.
Conceivably.
To be honest with you, I guess it depends on whether we think we have the right material, and at that point in time, we'll make that decision. As far as.
It's going to stomp on adhesive. We're going to stomp on this one before we...
We said that last time, and we all agreed to ourselves that this one stomped on the last one. So we don't have any barriers, because I think we've all not even touched our capabilities as far as songwriting.
Yeah,
we're still young. We've only been together for 2.5 years, just over 2.5 years. So we're still pretty young as far as a band band, you know.
To really make a record, though, you know, most of the records that you put on or CDs you put on your stereo, I mean, from, you know, let's say Tool or somebody or whatever, and the hair stands up on the back of your neck, and you go, you know, wow, those albums took like 3 months, 2 to 3 months to record. A lot of pre-production, a lot of going over and hearing new things. You create when you go into the studio. You sculpt when you go into the studio. And the longer the time you have in the studio, the more killer of an album you come out with.
Well, so if you hear of us taking a break, you know, and don't see us around for like 6 months, you probably know what we'll be doing.
Yeah, exactly. We're in the studio. But we won't take 2 months, probably. It'll probably take, oh, who knows, it might take a month. We took two and a half days for our first one and a week for our second album. So this one, if we do a month, it'll be luxury. It'll be like living. It'll be like in heaven.
Do you guys think you might put on real-time video for the internet for people worldwide to watch it?
Yeah. We're working on that now. So.
When do you think that might be coming out?
I don't know, Ray.
Here in this small town, nothing exciting ever happens. Life is very disappointing.
No. Where are you, Paige?
Good people of Derry Hill, Maine, I welcome you.
Dude! What's the matter? Where's your head at?
She's not on the site anymore. I don't know where she is.
Jack is looking for love, and it just walked in the front door.
That's a serious comic book you have there.
I'm not saying it wasn't her, dude, but the chances are pretty slim. What's she doing in Derry Hill?
She's on vacation. It's her. I know it.
She's the kind of girl everyone desires, and some people are willing to pay just about anything to meet her.
I'm willing to pay $1 million for this honor, Mr. Maxwell. Don't disappoint me.
Your comic book store would be a really great place to sell clothing.
Where in Maine are you specifically?
$1 million for that shit. I can't believe it.
I'm here to clean up this town.
Get ready for the sexiest, craziest, fun-filled ride you'll ever take with Paige, the Web Girl. She'll drive you wild.
Hey, boys.
Papa, I'm back with Uncle Jack at the Crazy River in Augusta, Maine. The next question is, do you folks have a lot of problems with groupies and so forth when it comes to like trying to practice and so forth?
Groupies?
Yep.
We don't have as much of a problem as we'd like to have with groupies. We'd probably like to have more groupies. It's not like the old days where groupies were, you know, in abundance. They're there, but you need more. I won't be afraid to say that.
Do you folks have a lot of problems with your hearing and stuff like that since your music's so loud?
Huh?
I think he said something about Scott.
Huh?
Do you have a lot of problems with the hearing loss?
Yeah, actually I do, honestly.
Are you trying to wear any hearing protection to try and save your hearing?
He has hair protection. Hair protection. This will shield any oncoming cymbal rays.
Actually, ironically, today I got some earplugs from a factory that I work, and I'll probably put them in tonight, because I'm getting paranoid about that. No, it's bad enough I'm getting the wrinkles and the hair loss. I got to make sure the hearing stays there.
There are some rooms. When we played last week at quite a small room and small stage, my ears rang for about a day and a half. So it really depends on the room. Some rooms it's not really that bad.
You folks try to watch your diet when you're on tour, so when you go on stage, you...
Well, cheeseburgers, definitely.
I'm on a seafood
These
diet.
guys do.
Yeah.
You can tell these guys do. But, you know, we just work.
So what do you say? The beach is that way?
Oh, God. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, my next question is, do you think it's possible that Maine could become another music mecca with the help of the Lewiston area and the Auburn area, because Portland can't do it on its own?
You mean like Seattle?
Yep.
Well, I think it's... Everybody's got to have the airplay, the publicity, you know, and a lot of times stuff like that costs huge amounts of money.
I don't think there's enough people in Maine.
There's not enough people in Maine for a band to support
large.
It's that large of a sum, you know, to get
Seattle,
that much
a lot
airplay.
of people in that city. You know,
right.
Los Angeles, a lot of people.
A lot of
Seattle
people, a
City
lot of
alone
bands.
is the whole Maine.
I know. I'm sure there was a lot of bands in the Wash from Seattle. You know what I mean? There's not enough people to come up with that kind of price tag, so they don't get the airplay. You know,
but that's okay. The world. Well, you were talking about the internet earlier. I mean,
Right.
more and more, it's a global thing today.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's opened up to everybody. You know, that's.
But as far as Maine, I think, you know, all the radio stations got to be open to local music. You know, for Maine to actually get on the map. You know?
Not be biased towards certain bands because they're from certain places.
Right.
But to pick and choose all around Maine. If a guy's from Van Buren, Maine, and they're a good band, play them. You know.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have to be just from Portland or just. And that seems to be the.
Or just
going
from
thing.
Lewiston.
The
You know,
thing
I mean,
is,
RBC,
even us. I mean, they shouldn't just be
RBC,
us.
you know, they play a lot of Lewiston music, but yet they play all kinds of other stuff. You know, local stuff.
Do you think the clicks down in Portland is hampering the music scene from expanding more?
No, I think it's like hurt themselves more than anything. You know, they're losing out on a lot of good bands. You know that you know could be doing the same thing they are.
With the exception of a couple of new clubs that opened up, the scene is dry everywhere. Everywhere in the state, it's dry. It's going back down to where nobody's going out anymore. You know, so we're trying to get people to come out, give them a reason to come out, jump around, move around on a stage a little bit more, give them some people don't want to see guys standing up there and just going, you know, just standing in one place and just, you know, that worked for a little while, but it's really not getting people out anymore.
People want to be entertained.
People want to be entertained, so we give them a reason to come out, you know. Besides, it's funner to get into it a little bit more and jump around.
We have a much better time.
Yeah.
As a band, you know, we laugh, you know, have fun.
Laugh, cry.
Yeah.
Laugh, cry.
Lay down.
Drink some
swear.
beer. I've only cried because of sweat in my eyes.
I've cried because I play barefoot and I step on things.
Okay. My next question is, do you think that, honestly, that Uncle Jack's actually hit upon a style and it's become so popular so fast that it just might be the next thing in the music industry? I mean, it's got a hybrid of so many different styles.
We're all crossing our fingers for that one. But
still got a lot of growing.
The people will decide. We just got to do what we do, and that's what you hear on these albums or what we're trying to do. That's contemporary and modern. But as you know, as you've probably heard, we're not a copycat band either. We have our own style and our own sound.
But we all feel that we can get better at it. I think we can get better. I think if we put out 10 albums, each one would in our minds be better than the last one because we can always get better on it.
It's the attitude you have to have. You got to have that attitude, and that's what creates, you know, really
the next
good
CD
pieces
will
of
be
work.
better at doing what we're doing on these two CDs. We'll do on probably the same thing, maybe a little bit more expanded and a little better. You know, a little bit different here and there. We're gonna see Uncle Jack change.
What type of changes do you think you might be doing on the vocals in the upcoming CDs?
Well, less screaming, more melody.
Do any folks study music theory whatsoever?
Say that again?
Do any folks study music theory whatsoever?
I have in college. I have in high school.
When I was in high school too, I did. I played in the high school band and chorus and took music theory and
tuba.
But
do you think the band might move on to that to help you expand in more experimental stages in the next
I think
CDs?
that's what this band's about. Is we're not really a theory band, although all of us, I think, have touched on it. Mike was in a drum and bugle corps, right? Weren't you at one point in your life, and in band and stuff? And we've all had enough of training as young when all of us were young. We were all, I believe, playing music at least 30. Yeah, he was probably the youngest out of all of us, but I think we were all playing instruments at least about between 10 and 13 years old, you know, and so. That's going to have an effect on with chops and theory and stuff, but it's really not. I guess I lost track of what I was trying to say.
Music theory is great. Anybody who shuns it,
you get caught on it though. You can rely on it. It's a great thing, and there are some musicians who can really have the ability to be a good field player and a good paper player. Some people are incredible with paper in front of them. You take it away and they can't do a thing. Other people, if you put paper in front of them, they freeze up. I think the bottom line is, are you making people have emotion with your music?
Whether it's one chord or 65 arpeggios, if you can make someone move off one chord, and you've got your
learn
job.
theory. When you're a kid, this is for any kids that might be watching. don't count that out. Learn how to read music. When you're young, that's when you got to do that stuff.
Even if your favorite band is Nirvana, learn music theory.
Learn music theory because you're going to rely, and it'll give you something to fall back on later, and which we do. I think I'm not patting ourselves on the back, but we all have a tendency to have a little bit of flair of chops in our playing, you know.
And if you totally diss having musical, you know, trying to be musical, and we want to express ourselves, whether it's with a grungy, dirty, you know, song or a song that's got a little bit more,
maybe a little fusion, or a little bit more
musically,
interlude that
you know,
think was Miles
why
Davis
have limitations? Who's to say that no, you can't act like you have any musical knowledge because it's not hit, you know? That's probably the most disturbing thing, is that people are actually out there discouraging music theory and stuff, and that's ridiculous. We grew up in the 80s when all the guitar heroes were out and all that stuff was happening. You can't deny where you came from. I'm not going to lie to you and say, yeah, my hero was Elvis Costello, because it wasn't. It was Van Halen, Dokken, you know, and other things too, you know what I mean? You try to keep an open mind to everything, you know, which means you can't disclude anything, you know. You have to keep it all going, but, you know, to each his own. But music theory is good.
Do you have anything to add to that?
What he said.
That's what everyone says. I always say that. My next question is there any closing statements that you like to make for the audiences besides see our shows to try and make an impact for our viewers?
Sponsors and press. Help us out, man. Help everybody out. Help all musicians out. We need you. You know, it's easy to get fans, but we need help from press.
When you see these big national bands and they're so great, they're great for one reason only: the fans, you know. Yeah. And if you see a band that you like that's local, and you kind of like them, do whatever you can. If you get some free time and whatever, support them, because chances are, if they get more support, they'll be even better. You know, they'll perform even better, and you know you'll see them a lot more. So
continue to support music, period, because, you know, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel emotion. Music, I think, is good therapy. Good therapy. It does. You know, I mean, you can buy it.
I'd like to buy the world a Coke.
You'll be massaged thoroughly.
How was yourself?
What he said.
Peace, love, and stuff.
Well, I do got one more question. For the people watching this, do you folks give any music lessons whatsoever?
I do.
You do? Okay.
I want you to know, I live in Portland, Maine. My phone number is 772-7873.
Can you say that one more time slowly?
772-7873. And I give lessons. That's what I do.
How much do you charge an hour?
You know, it's a good, fair price. We'll go into that stuff when you call.
Okay. This is Doug Papa from Big Time Music Trade Magazine Visual, here with Uncle Jack, and we'll see you in the future. Thank you.
No thanks.
Wow, that was cool. You had to plug guitar lessons. If I can call us, I'll be great.